Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. It's finally happening. After months of speculation, Dana White has just confirmed that Jones wants a fight, and it could go down this summer at UFC 317. This is the fight everyone has been waiting for, and it might be the biggest heavyweight showdown in years. But why is this fight so important? And what does it mean for the future of the UFC? Let's break it all down. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. The fight fans have been waiting for. For months, UFC fans have been buzzing about the possibility of Jon Jones facing Tom Aspinall. Ever since Jones defeated Stipe Miocic and became the undisputed heavyweight champion, people have been asking, who's next? Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion, has been dominating his opponents with speed, power, and elite-level striking. Many believe he is the biggest threat to Jones' heavyweight reign. However, there were concerns that the fight might never happen, especially after Jones hinted at retirement. Aspinall himself even called out Jones, saying the delay was coming from his side. This only fueled more speculation, with some fans thinking Jones might be avoiding the fight. But now, with Dana White confirming that Jones does want to fight, it looks like we are closer than ever to this massive showdown. This isn't just another title fight. It's a battle between one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time and a new generation star who could be the future of the heavyweight division. If this fight happens, it could be one of the biggest in UFC history. Dana White confirms Jones wants the fight. At UFC 313's post-fight press conference, Dana White finally addressed the rumors surrounding Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Many fans believe Jones was avoiding the fight, especially after Aspinall publicly suggested that the delay was from Jones' side. But Dana White made it clear, Jon Jones wants to fight. His exact words were, "Jon Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now. I'm very confident that fight happens in the summer." This statement shuts down any doubts about Jones ducking Aspinall. Instead, it seems like the UFC is just figuring out the logistics, such as the date and location. The timing of this confirmation is also interesting. White made this announcement right after UFC 313, where Alex Pereira lost to Magom Dankaleev. With Pereira's loss shaking up the light heavyweight division, the focus now shifts entirely to the heavyweight division, making Jones versus Aspinall even bigger. Now that we know Jones is on board, all eyes are on the UFC to officially announce the fight. And with White saying he's very confident it will happen this summer, it seems like we are closer than ever to witnessing this historic clash. Perfect timing, UFC 317 in International Fight Week. If Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall happens, it won't just be any fight. It could headline UFC 317 during International Fight Week in June. International Fight Week is the UFC's biggest annual event, featuring fan meetups, Hall of Fame inductions, and, most importantly, massive fights. Dana White and the UFC always save their best matchups for this occasion, making it the perfect stage for Jones versus Aspinall. Let's break it down. Jon Jones is the biggest name in the heavyweight division. He's considered one of the greatest fighters of all time. Tom Aspinall is the hottest rising star in the division. His dominant performances have convinced many that he could be the one to dethrone Jones. The UFC needs a blockbuster main event for UFC 317. With Pereira losing at UFC 313, there aren't many bigger fights available. If the fight gets scheduled for June, the UFC will have months to promote it as one of the biggest heavyweight title fights in history. The hype around this fight is already massive, but putting it in International Fight Week would make it legendary. Now that the timeline seems to be aligning, the only thing left is the official announcement. Why this fight is huge for the heavyweight division. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall isn't just a big fight. It's one of the most important fights in UFC heavyweight history. Here's why. 1. It's a title unification fight. Right now, the UFC has two heavyweight champions. Jon Jones, undisputed champion. Tom Aspinall, interim champion. When a division has an interim champ, it creates uncertainty. A fight between Jones and Aspinall would officially unify the belts, leaving no doubt about who the true king of the heavyweight division is. 2. A true test for Jon Jones. Jones is undefeated in the UFC, but his heavyweight run has only included one fight, against Cyril Gane. Some fans believe Aspinall is the first real test for Jones at heavyweight. Unlike Gane, Aspinall has elite-level wrestling and grappling, knockout power, insane speed for a heavyweight. If Jones wins, it cements his status as the greatest of all time. If Aspinall wins, he proves he's the new face of the division. 3. A new era for heavyweights. For years, the heavyweight division has been ruled by legends like Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou, and now Jon Jones. But the division has never had a dominant, long-term champion like Jones was at light heavyweight. If Aspinall wins, it could mark the beginning of a new era, where a fresh champion leads the division for years. But if Jones wins, his GOAT status becomes undeniable. This is more than just a fight. It's a defining moment for the future of heavyweight MMA. Alex Pereira's loss and his praise for Jon Jones. The timing of Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall is even more interesting because of what just happened at UFC 313. Alex Pereira lost to Magomed Ankalaev. Pereira's loss shifts the spotlight to heavyweights. Before UFC 313, many fans were excited about Alex Pereira potentially moving up to heavyweight and challenging Jon Jones. But after his loss to Ankalaev, that talk has died down. Now, all the attention is back on Jones versus Aspinall. 2. Pereira's praise for Jon Jones. After losing, Pereira made headlines by praising Jon Jones, calling him one of the smartest and most well-rounded fighters in the game. Coming from Pereira, a dangerous striker who has fought some of the toughest opponents, that's a huge compliment. This adds more hype to Jones versus Aspinall because it reminds fans just how legendary Jones is. If one of the best knockout artists in UFC history respects Jones that much, it shows what Aspinall is up against. 3. The heavyweight division is now the UFC's biggest attraction, with Pereira out of the light heavyweight title picture for now. The biggest storyline in the UFC is who can defeat Jon Jones. Tom Aspinall is the best possible challenger, and with Dana White confirming Jones wants the fight, it's clear the UFC is preparing for something huge. Now, all that's left is the official announcement. If this fight is booked for UFC 317 during International Fight Week, it could be one of the biggest events in UFC history.